Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that song. Welcome to the Beat 139. I'm Doc.
I'm Don Vito. How y'all feeling today? What's going on?
Welcome everyone, and I'm Callie. Welcome to the Beat 139.
So we want to welcome our first guest for the evening. He's an award-winning music module recording artist known as mega hit singles You Called and Told Me and Love High. Entrepreneur and successful contributions to the entertainment industry. We got my man Jeff Red. Jeff Red, welcome to the show, bro. What's going on? Grammy Award winner, American Music Award winner,
yes.
Soul Train Music Award winner,
Yes, Oscar.
Billboard Award winner,
Absolutely.
Oscar. Oh, he got it all, man.
Yep, and I got the Harlem Honors too.
Absolutely, all artists. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna start like this. Tell everybody where you from, bro.
I'm from Mount Vernon, New York.
Money earning.
That's
Money
right.
earning,
Money
Mount
earning, Mount Vernon, money making Manhattan. So we're money earning, Mount
There
Vernon.
you go.
And started out in the music business a long time ago, but the interesting part about it, like I said, Saturday night at the Harlem Honors, shout out to Bunny and Big Wall.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 10, I went to a concert around the corner to see a man. I didn't know who he was at the time, but the lady took us to the show. The lights went down and people started screaming, and I heard this guy say, "Are you really ready for some super dynamite soul?"
Oh wow.
So it was James Brown. That was in 1973.
Wow.
And my life was changed ever since. And to go 360 and be around the corner from the Apollo, getting a Harlem Honors Award was surreal for me because, you know, I was able to go from being an artist, writer, producer, executive, my own label, and then managing and, you know, bringing in people in the music business, man. And, you know, I really feel good about the accomplishment that I have. I didn't do it for the awards. The awards actually came after the hard work was in.
All right, so you see your dad died when you was 8 years old.
Yes, sir.
What impact did that have on your life?
It had a big impact because back then, you know, the men would come into after the funeral and they say, "Well, your father died, now you're the man in the house," which is the wrong thing to tell an 8-year-old kid because you don't understand what a man is. And being 8 years old, I thought a man didn't cry. I thought a man, if he had a problem, he handled it himself.
Mm-hmm.
And those things I started thinking. So going through life, it was rough. And maybe that was a motivation for me because I had to learn how to deal with their situations. If something happens now, I don't want to know what happened. I have to start coming up with a solution for the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a lot of that motivated me to be very aggressive in going after what I wanted. And like I said, from the time I was 10 years old, I wanted to get in the music business and I wanted to be on Soul Train. So I had to wait 13, 14 years, but it happened for me.
So you have 4 sons yourself.
I have 4 sons, Jeffrey, Jai, Jay, and Jaden. 4
Wow.
boys, and one just graduated from college, an engineer, and the other 2 are going into college, and my youngest is 12. So they're go-getters, you know, like Jai over there, he's really into the basketball thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay's going in to be an attorney, and little Jaden's probably going to be an engineer as well. So they all have their minds made up already, just like I did. I think kids know what they want when they come into the world. You know?
Yeah.
We just mess it up.
That's cool.
So, look, Callie.
You must have known I was ready.
Yeah.
My question. So what was it like growing up in Mount Vernon when, you know, you were doing your music and creating?
You know,
everything that you
when I
do?
was young, my mother didn't want me to get in the music business because she, said I was going to get on drugs. That was the main thing. You're going to be tired one night, somebody going to say, take this,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to get addicted to drugs. Because, back then, drugs was a big thing
Yeah,
for parents and stuff
definitely,
like that.
That's
So
in
I
the
had to,
70s.
yes.
And especially with artists.
Especially with artists. And so I had to wait till I was 18 to get in a local band from Mount Vernon. Name of the group was Sophisticated Gents. And after that, I started doing solo things, open mic nights, and I got my deal from performing one night. And Harrell came down and saw me perform, and I got my deal from him. Yeah, so Mount Vernon is a great city. It's a small town, 4 square miles. We got a lot of talent, athletes, entertainers. You had Gus Williams, Ray Williams, Scooter McCrae, Rodney McCrae, Rose Gordon. You had the rappers like Heavy D's, Pete Roxell, Smooth, Albie Shore, In Touch. We got JB Smooth. It's a lot of people that came from that small city.
I know In Touch is from Mount Vernon.
Absolutely. Eric McCain, Free is from
Yeah.
I think he's from the Bronx, but Harry came from. He and I graduated together.
You got your boy Denzel from there too.
Denzel, yeah.
Can't forget Denzel.
I can't, man. Denzel's from Mount Vernon. It's a lot of cats from Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon is small, but a lot of big names
talent,
came out of it.
and a lot of big names came out of it, and they're still coming out of it, you know?
Yeah. So when you first got you said Andre Harrell, you mentioned Andre Harrell, when you
Yes.
first got your first deal, how did you feel, your first opportunity?
It was great because I was trying to get one. You know, I was going to different record labels in the daytime because I was working at General Motors.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at General Motors in Tarrytown, and I worked at night, so in the daytime I would shop my deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to all the record labels, went to Andre, you know, they heard the demos, and I didn't get a deal based on my demo, I got a deal based on my performance.
Wow.
So a lot of cats, like I always tell people, it's different ways of getting in the record business back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, sometimes you can go to a record label and let them, they hear your demo and you get signed, or somebody can know somebody to get in. But I got my deal based on, you know, performing.
Yeah.
And it was a great thing, and that was my first deal. And
And what
going,
song, not to cut you off, but what song did you perform, or what song did they like specifically?
it was
when
a
you were signed
song,
to
Love
Uptown?
High. Love High was a song that was done by Timmy Allen. No, Timmy Allen. Damn, I'm sorry. Timmy Allen. Timmy Allen's from brother from Philadelphia, but he lived in Harlem.
Mhm.
And Timmy Allen, he wrote We've Only Just Begun, a romance novel for Glenn Jones. He wrote
That's one of
He
my
wrote Put a
favorites.
Little Rush on Me for Stephanie Mills. He discovered High Five, Chris Brown.
Wow.
And he was the guy who, his wife was funny. I was handing out flyers about Madison Square Garden for a show. And this lady said, "Oh, you sing?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm just telling my husband to come down." That was Timmy Allen. And that was Johnny May. And Johnny had told Timmy to come down and saw me perform. And he cut the version of Love High that, you know, got on the first project.
How old you was at the time?
I was old getting in the music business. I was actually 23 years old.
No, I'm saying when they saw you perform.
When Andre saw me perform,
Yeah.
I was 23.
Were you 23?
Yeah, I was 20. And that's old. Back then, that's old in the considered, because like Heavy and them was 16, 17, 18. And they always thought I was the same age as them, and I was older than them. So yeah, I was 23 and put out the first single, I Found Love. And let me go back a little bit, because while working at General Motors, that's where I discovered Mary J Blige. See, Mary J Blige was, her stepfather, Little Jimmy, worked on a line with me. And he knew that I was doing shows. So he said, "Well, my stepdaughter sings." I said, "Well, you know, bring me a cassette," because we're going back to like 1988. And he brought the cassette in, and I liked it, you know, gave it to my management at the time, and we got her a deal from there.
Oh, so she got a deal the same time you got a deal, basically.
Yeah, I got my deal in 88, she got hers in 89.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I started out, when I was in 88, I had signed my deal, and then she got her deal in 89, so it was real close together. And I think the first, then I had her doing background me. If you see, like when I was doing the Apollo, Ray was one of the background singers. Then I would have her perform background stuff for me, and then in the middle of my set, I would have her come out and do You Remind Me, and then she would go back, just to get her used to performing and stuff like that.
Well, so you was willingly helping her. That's
Absolutely,
good.
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
know some people when they coming up, like you said, you came out 88.
Yeah.
You still coming up.
Yeah, I'm
And-
still
and
coming
you
up, right.
Grabbing while you coming up.
It's funny.
A lot
I
of
was-
people don't do
I
that.
was grabbing a lot of people. I grabbed Mary from General Motors. There was a young brother who wanted to be a comedian, right? He worked at General Motors, so I said, "Yeah, you can open up for me." And you know, I was following him around doing comedy, and then he ended up. I got him a job at Motown with DJ Tate. His name was Benny Pugh. Benny Pugh went on to be the president of Live Nation. So you know, I was pulling a lot of people in when I was coming in, because they say when you open the door, you got to bring as many people in as you can. So that was my main thing of getting a lot of cats in.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That,
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And it's a blessing. It feel good when you help someone.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
I love it.
And not looking for anything in return,
Exactly.
because I think when you're put in somebody's place, I think it's important that you have to help people, not looking for anything in return, not saying, "Oh, when he got on, you're supposed to help." No, when he gets on or she gets on, they got to bring other people on. That's their job.
Yeah, and
So-
now we got those like, if you good already, why not help somebody else get good? And Pat has already said, you pull somebody else in. That's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like to do that. You know, they just think about themselves, they're being selfish, you know?
But then again, they always say when you trying to make it,
Right.
you need to focus on you.
Right.
You know, that's what happened like with Big L, not the subject, but he's coming up and trying to pull while he's coming up.
Right, and you know, so it's just in you that way. It's not like you don't fear, because I'm not competing with anybody.
Right.
You know, Jeff Red is Jeff Red, and he's gonna be Jeff Red, and it's not gonna be something else that's not what Jeff Red is. So I wasn't worried about this guy coming in and being Jeff Red. Nobody can do what I do.
Right.
I can't do what anybody else does. So that's I think when you talk about people like that, they don't really worry
And it's
about
just like LeBron, like people say LeBron passed the ball too much. That's his game.
right.
LeBron gonna get, he know he can get his anytime he feel like it, but he like to get
Look
the
at how
team.
you play and how you operate in life. It's the same thing.
Same way.
You see what I'm saying?
His
How
boy's
you
friends.
play
Yeah.
is how you play.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
gonna pass the ball, and he gonna open up schools, and he gonna do all
He
that
don't
type
change
of
his
stuff.
style for nobody,
Nah, and I
so that's
don't
his
either.
general nature.
Right, and that's why I can,
Teamwork.
teamwork makes the dream work, and that's what I say
Exactly,
with the whole relationship with Bunny and I. I knew Bunny over 30-something years, and I mean, during the course of the time knowing Bunny, we crossed each other's paths. Bunny and him used to come and support me during my times coming up before I even got a record deal, when I was performing at Sweetwater's and stuff like that. So they were always, her and Mary Brown were always there supporting, and I really appreciate that for that. So now here we go, fast forward 30-something years later, and I'm getting honor awards, man. It's not because that we're great friends or anything, it's because of the work that I've done and the relationship that we have.
Exactly. That's
And Jeff, for your music, as far as everything that you wrote before your single came out
Right.
and you got your award, was your music respected in the same way, you would say, after that, after you got that Grammy?
Well, you know, the Grammy, just so you know, I got a Grammy for, when I finished being Jeff Red, I had stopped doing music for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became an A&R person at MCA Records. My first project that I worked on was Salt and Pepper's, Salt and Pepper was with Herbie Lovebug, and they put out a record called Champagne. So I won a Grammy working on that project with them, and then I got the
As a
Grammy.
feature?
No, I wasn't on it at
Oh,
all.
right.
I was just the executive
Okay.
A&R person on
Okay.
it. And after that, I started working on all the Casey and JoJo records.
Mhm.
So I was executive producer on that and A&R, so I got Grammy nominations for that. Then I worked on Regina Bell, and I got Grammy nominations for that. Then I worked on the Hurricane soundtrack, and Eve's Bayou soundtrack, and how Stella Got a Groove, and all those different other things, and those were all the accolades and awards came from. You know, You Called and Told Me was a big record because of the soundtracks. That's how a lot of records were broken back in the 90s, through soundtracks, you know, so that's where the awards and everything came from.
And
So
you
when
wrote that one as well?
I wrote You Called and Told Me, yes.
Okay, yes. That's
With
one of my
Dave
favorites.
Hall and Eric Mills, yeah.
Yes, I love that song.
Thank you so much.
Is it possible that we can play that song and you can sing along a little bit for us, bro?
It's a little,
It's a little something. I think
I don't need the music, man.
There it is.
Oh, that's what I like.
I don't need the music. What you got in the
You just
music
got my
for?
girl Miss T in the house. She said, I'm coming early.
Yeah,
Jeff
yeah.
Red gonna be. I'm gonna blow it up, T.
Jeff, I might join. I might join.
That's what I need, all right. All right.
Yeah.
We were so happy together when we first met. Oh, but you started acting crazy. Oh, baby, what's happening? 'Cause all my love is what I'm feeling. If you want games, well, I'm not playing. Let me know if you want to leave, baby, please don't come leaving your life. You see,
Okay, okay.
Bring the beat.
Okay. Yeah. Man, Jeff Red, acapella.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, like you was talking about like in 1988, how artists were getting deals and stuff like that. I remember back in the days too, I seen a couple of artists get signed just for acapella. Like, like you said, you had to know somebody. So if you go to the studio, somebody brought you a label,
Yeah.
and you sat down,
Yeah.
and you blew it up,
Yeah.
like, yo, come back, I'm gonna sign
Right,
her.
I'ma sign you.
Just from your voice alone, they didn't put you on the track yet, nothing like that.
Nah, it was based, back then everything was based on talent. Today it's based on likes and followers. It's totally different, man.
That, you know, you're very right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Likes and followers.
likes and followers, and viewership, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and that's what it's about. It's a different day now. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying back then,
Right.
it was different than it is today.
It was pure talent.
Yeah, you know, it's talent out there.
I mean,
today. I don't like to knock, because I was young at one time. So,
Right.
you know, when the guys looked at what we were doing, I can imagine what they were saying. We was doing
Mhm.
New Jack Swing and the drums is flying everywhere, and they probably saying, look at these guys.
Yeah.
There's no rhythm section, there was none of this. So I can't knock what the young people are doing. There's a lot of talent out there, but all I ask for is balance. You know, if you're gonna give me, just give us balance. That's all. We don't need to hear the same thing. Because I'm listening to my son. He listens to a lot of that, and I can hear in his headphones. That's all I'm hearing in his headphones. Those hi-hats. You know? Just give me some balance. That's all.
So when you wrote that song, you knew right away it was gonna be a hit?
No, you know it's so funny. That song came out in '91. That song was 28 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah, 28 years old. And it actually, what is big, it's bigger now than it was 28 years ago. You know, it's crazy, man. Even though the movie was out and everything, the record seemed to have this life that just took, it's almost like a Before I Let Go, or I Found Love, and that sort of thing. It's a record that, you know, is still around, man. But no, I didn't know it was a hit. I didn't even like it. That's why I rewrote it, because it came to me a different way. And then I wrote it over, and I kind of liked it. You know, I can't lie. And then years later, you know, I love it when I hear
That
it.
song is so big. That song there, you know, when you're a DJ, like I DJ,
Right.
when I put it on, I already know, like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be worried
Report
about
to
the
the dance
crowd.
floor,
You know,
right.
sometimes you worry like, oh God, like. You know,
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But
that
see,
song is
but what
crazy.
I'm saying, and not digressing, but just thinking about the DJs of today. And DJs back then broke records. You know, I go back to the days of the Fever when they had Star Child and guys like, you know, Hollywood, Eddie Chiba, and those guys are breaking records, Red Alert. You know, they would play a new song. I remember how they broke You Called and Told Me at the club, man. They played it one week, dance floor kind of cleared out, maybe 10 or 15 guys, played it the next week, 40, 50, played it, and you break a record. And that's what I'm saying, a lot of the DJs today, they just want to play the same records over and over. And I appreciate it because mine is one of those records, but it's time now to start breaking records. And I'm hearing, it's funny because I saw a Busy B online, and I had posted something, you just going off on the DJs, like, yo, you see me, you're drinking my champagne, and you ain't playing my record. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw MC Shan, he was getting at somebody on Facebook. So, you know, it's just like, I think with a lot of the frustration lies in a lot of the older artists is that, you know, they're not breaking records anymore, they're playing the same record over and
Yeah,
over.
you know what too, Jeff, because a lot of the music that's out here right now is commercialized, so you pretty much hear the same songs being played over and over and over again, you know,
Right.
instead of like mixing and dialing, like when you listen to the radio, you hear the same songs, on every station you go to is the same songs playing.
Right.
You know, so I mean, that's really on the DJs, and I feel it really goes back to paying under the table and doing little certain things, and people wanting to push their artists out on whoever they're working with. Like, you know, when you have certain DJs that have, you know, certain artists or whatever, and they keep pushing their music, so they keep playing like the same stuff, the same similar things, you know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's take it back for a minute. Let's talk about Soul Train, when you first got on Soul Train Music Awards, man.
Okay.
How did you
okay.
feel about that experience?
Well, I first got on Soul Train. Okay, the Soul Train Music Awards when I was working with Casey and Georgia. But when I first went to Soul Train, it was, you know, I thought I was dreaming because I always said I wanted to go, and then all of a sudden, we get on Soul Train. So I remember that taping that day. I think it was me, Queen Latifah, Mickey Howard, and a few other people, because they were taping just like they do with the Apollo, do a whole tape Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we tape, and then that's the whole season.
Right.
So it was funny how I got on Soul Train because at the time it was a A&R person at MCA, Lowell Silas Jr. Lowell Silas was the guy that was responsible for New Edition, Loose Ends, Jesse Powell, Shantae Moore, Colonel Abrams, a whole lot of big names. And I was just up there because I was on Uptown MCA. So when I went up there, I went to the label for my first time just to meet the people. And I went in his office, he said, oh, so you Jeff Red? I said, yeah. He said, so what you doing there? I said, just came to visit. He said, hold on 1 second. Got on his phone. Yeah, what's happening? Y'all taping this week? He said, yeah. He said, all right, I got this guy, Jeff Red, I want to come down and perform. He said, all right. He said, that was Don Cornelius. He said, you're going to be on Soul Train tomorrow. You got something to wear? I said, nah. He said, hold on. So he called up somebody else. An hour, the guy came down with the clothes and everything. So Lou Salas was like the premier A&R person who he knew everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of who I parodied my A&R after when I became an A&R at MCA Records, because he was a guy that knew the DJs, he knew the music, he knew the artists, he knew about fashion, he knew about imaging, everything.
He was a plug.
He was a man. He was a man.
Yeah, so when you perform Soul Train, and so when you had your first album,
Yes.
the anticipation on your album, who was some of the producers that worked with you?
Well, my first album is funny because I remember being at Uptown Records. Uptown Records started out on Clinton Street in Brooklyn. And I remember, I always tell the story, Andre and I was downstairs arguing about something, and then we heard these guys upstairs singing. We went upstairs, and it was these 4 guys from Charlotte, North Carolina. We said, "What's your name?" And they said, "Jodeci." And Jodeci got their deal that day. They drove up, they didn't have any money. They got their deal that day. Andre put them in the projects where he came from, which I want to say is the Soundview or over there by Bronx River, one of the 2. And the producers on my first album were Devontae,
Right.
of course, Timmy Allen, Carl Morelli, we had Mark Stevens, who was Shaka's brother, we had, I can't think of the guys at the time, but we had like maybe a slew of people, because You Call and Tommy wasn't on that project. You Call and Tommy was on the Strictly Business side.
Strictly Business, yeah.
Yeah, so, it was a few others, Van Gibbs, who was actually, Salon Remy's brother, Salon Remy's father, so he was a big producer. So, those producers all had, was all starting out at the time, man. Devontae was starting out at the time, and, a lot of cats were there. Yeah, so that album was anticipated because back then you had marketing directors who knew how to put out a record. They called them product managers. Now they call them marketing directors.
Was you satisfied with the first single they pushed out? Because they
The
said
Outlaw
normally
Lover?
artists,
That
they
record,
always, the label always tell you what to put out.
right, the thing about Uptown had a lot of people that were involved with putting out the records. Of course, you had Andre Harrell at the final say, but you had Jimmy Jenkins, George Harrell, Dice.
Dice, remember Dice.
Yeah, you remember Dice. You had a lot of people whose input, because Jimmy was out there selling the music to everybody. This is how you do it. So it was a lot of people that was involved. So when we came up to it, I was cool with that because I love that record. I remember hearing the original by the Fat Band. And I said I wanted to do that over. So yeah, I was very happy with the results. And then, like I said, the product manager worked. They worked you. They put you on that road, man. That's why, by the grace of God, Jeff Red is still around 31 years later.
There you go. That Strictly Business soundtrack was hot.
It was crazy. That's where we broke Mary J Blige. You remind me was on that.
Yeah.
Grand Poobah and had a dope joint on there.
We have a
Yeah.
caller. A caller wants to talk to you. Hello, caller. You here with Jeff
Yes,
Red?
how you doing?
What's happening, brother?
Not much. Question for Mr. Jeff Red.
Yes.
I just want to ask him, from all the accolades that he has done and songs that he written and produced, how do you feel about the attention of how it's being played? How it's being played now to where while we don't have stations that's playing the music that really means something?
To answer your question, I think that what's going on now, all these radio stations are brought up by one person. Like it's Clear Channel, it's I forgot the other ones, Clear Cumulus. And it's like maybe 3 or 4 big guys. So all the radio stations play. Basically, they have a program director, and they're told what to play. So when you get to the beautiful thing about these internet radio stations, these internet things, that they can play basically what they want to play. So a lot of times now, and I'm looking at my sons and all that, they're listening a lot to the internet. They don't listen to radio like I call us the older people. They don't listen to radio. They listen to the internet and they program their own music. So I think a lot of the people are going to get their music discovering it on the internet. They like discovering things now. They don't like the radio to tell them this is a hit record. So it's a little better now for the youth than it was a little while ago.
Yes, but now why is it that we can't call into the major outlets and request a song that's a hit record that we want to hear? Why they don't have that to where they could play it?
You know, you know, when you listen to a lot of radio stations, your BLSs and your 103.9s, they tell you to call in, but I think it's a little different now because I remember going up to a lot of these radio stations recently, and you know, they say, yo, call in, and they give you the number, and nobody calls in. Because most of the time, people are working, people are at home getting their kids ready for school. So, but I think they leave it open, but I don't know how involved they are because, like, sometimes you hear Fred Bug say, okay, we get ready to play either Maxwell or Mary J Blige. Call in and let us know what you want to hear. And then you'll hear what other people call in. So I think they still do it, but they don't promote it like they used to when we were coming up. Because they say, yo, we got the new song. So I remember when I first heard Keith Sweat, I Want It. And they had it on Make It or Break It. And I was working at General Motors at the time. And they played it, and people said, break it. And the DJ said, nah, that's so nice, I'm gonna play it twice. They broke that record. You know, so it's not what the people had wanted at the time, because I know people say they didn't like it. But that DJ played and that record became a hit record.
Right. Okay, so they consider a song for a request. If I was to request, you called and told me, that's not considered as a BDS, a sound scan. It's just a song that's requested. It doesn't count to them.
No, if you call in and request a song, it does not count as a BDS spin. A BDS spin is counted when the record is actually played. When you call up and request it, what they'll do is put it in a queue and say, you call up and request You Call It Tony. Then 15 other people might call up and request Usher's song, or 35 people might call up and request a James Brown song. So they're going with the most requests that they have at the time. And sometimes you can catch a DJ late night and he's just playing what he wants to play. He say, yo, call up and I'll play what you want to hear. But very rare, because they have a set list of records they have to play.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it. I thank you. I thank you for the input. Great food for thought. And by the way, I love the motivational speeches and everything that you put on your Facebook and your Instagram, the real Jeff Red. We support you. The wife, we be behind you 100%. We like it.
And I
help us a lot.
And I support the 515 Yachts. All right, my brother. I got you.
Thanks for calling.
You, big bro.
Thanks for calling the show. Hopefully you support the show also, because I appreciate
Yes, definitely. We will.
Yes, subscribe to the B139 YouTube page.
All right, we definitely will.
My
Appreciate you guys doing a good thing. Appreciate everything.
All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
my brother.
Thank you.
Hey, so Jeff, I got a question to ask you, right? I'm using a singer group called Sophisticated Gents.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happened to them?
Sophisticated Gents, it was myself, Marvin Benjamin, and Danny Stevenson. We all were from Mount Vernon. They were like a couple of years older than me. And like I said, I couldn't get in the music business until I was old enough. So when I got 18 and got out of high school, I joined this group. And we were performing around New York City, making $35 a night, doing 3 sets. Each set was an hour. So we started getting good. So the promoter of one of the clubs, the place was the Lady Out on 241st Street. And he said, you guys are doing good, I'm gonna up your pay to $50 a piece. They felt since I was a new guy in the group, I didn't need the $15. So they was gonna split my $15. And I still work for the 35. So I said, you know what, how many more shows we got? He said, we got 2 or 3. I said, after that, I'm out. So I left the group and started doing open mic nights and performing and doing that sort of thing. And then, like I said, performing one night and Andre saw me performing. I got my deal from him. So the Sophisticated Gents was cool. I appreciate it because that was my intro to actually performing in front of people and getting used to being in front of people.
It was a large crowd that night.
At the Lady Island?
The night you got signed.
Oh yeah, it was a large crowd, man. It was at a place called the Palace in New Rochelle. And that place was jumping regardless. They have a DJ there, DJ Danny. He's from Harlem actually. DJ Danny, he used to DJ up there and he used to play a lot of the loose ends records. He's still a great DJ. So it was jam-packed that night. And that's the night that I said that guy, Benny had performed and doing comedy and stuff like that and brought him in. So, that was a great night.
So you saw Andre before you got on stage?
I didn't know Andre was there. like I said, I had went to his office maybe a few months before with my demo and hadn't heard anything from him. But Kurt Woodley, who was working at Uptown at the time, said, yo, you gotta see this kid perform. So he came and saw me perform that night. I think Eddie F might have been with him as well. And I got my deal from there.
Wow.
Yep.
I knew you was gonna have
Man, I was happy, man, because I was like, yo, finally, you know, I got a record deal. And the funny thing about it, I tell my sons all the time, I say, okay, I got my deal November '88. So, you know, you get your deal, everybody hears about it, and they say, oh man, when you coming out? I say, probably springtime, I'll be out. 2 years later, the record came out. So what that taught me is that, you know, when something, just wait till it happens before you start talking about it. It's even like tonight, I was like, yeah, I'll be on at 7 o'clock. Everybody, yo, it's 7:15. What's going on? So next time, I'll just hit them when I get on the air.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I'm always, when I don't like to talk about stuff, I just like to do it, and then, you know, they'll see it.
Show up.
Yes.
So Jeff, I know your passion is singing, right?
Yes.
What was your transition like when you switched over to A&R? Because nowadays you don't really hear too many people talking about A&R reps. So how was for you A&R back then and now with all the new technology and everything?
A&R back then, when I was doing it, I started at MCA in '96, and A&R was really about finding talent, putting the music, the image together for the talent, and, you know, putting that and working the label. Because now, just because you're in A&R, you sign a group, you got to work the entire company. You got to get the salespeople excited, the promo people excited, because they're the ones that have to sell the record.
Right.
So I look at back then and to now, like a lot of guys are coming to me, yo, I got this demo, I want to try to get a record deal, I'm trying to get a label deal. It does not work like that.
Right.
You got to get out here and write your own story. And and if you're doing all that, you might as well go the whole distance. If I can sell 10,000 records at $10 or $20 a record, that's $100,000 or $200,000. I can go on to the next project.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm building a fan base and I have a following, and I just got to make music to cater to my fan
To
base.
keep it up.
To keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's real
Consistency.
simple now.
Mhm.
It's not as hard as it used to be, but the only difference now is there's so many people doing it.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you can put a record on iTunes, but who's gonna find it? How do I know you got a record on iTunes?
Right.
You might tell me, but that's probably as far as it goes. So now you have to do a lot of marketing, you have to do a lot of promoting, you have to get in people's faces, you have to do everything. Nothing's too big, nothing's too small.
I like that you said that.
Yeah.
See, that's what people have to realize when they get on. That's the rule number one to me. Nothing too big, nothing too small. Just work.
Just work. And you know, when I started back, because I took 15 years off, and then I came back to New York to take care of my mother. My mother got sick, but during that time, George Harrell had was calling me all the time when I was in LA, yo, they're playing your record, you come back to do it. So when I got back here, I think in 2006, yeah, 2006, and we did a little run, we did radio, we did, you know, I remember doing my first thing coming back was a small bar on 8th Avenue and 135th Street called the Right Bar. There might have been like maybe 8 people in it. And he said, go ahead and perform. So of course, yeah, you know, yeah, exactly, right. And it went from that to maybe 9-10 months later, I was in front of 10,000 people at South Street Seaport. So it was like doing all the little stuff, you know, performing with the black and golds of the world, opening up for this person and doing everything. And you know, we call it the Dougie Fresh because that's what Dougie does. Dougie does it all. And you have to just get out there and hit it, you know, hit it all the time. And that's what we've been able to do as artists. And I always give God the glory because I've been able to do this now for actually 31 years. Long time.
So the A&R part, see, I like that process, how you broke it down. Like, you had to sell the people on
You have to
high
sell,
end.
when you have a label, you have to, and you're at a work, I'm an A&R person. Okay, so now I signed you. And I gotta sit down with your marketing person because your marketing person is going to tell me, I gotta tell my marketing person who you are, what you are. I gotta start letting them hear some of the music. I gotta get them excited about it. I gotta go to my sales guy, my promo guy, and let him know, like, yo, this is the new cat. He's coming out. You gotta check him out. Get to know him. Start developing a relationship. Because now, when I finish with the record, they gotta go in here and sell this record.
Exactly.
They need to have a relationship with you. if they don't know who you are, I'm gonna give them a record like, what's this? Who's on it? I gotta get them inside, yo, I got Teddy Riley did the track. You know, Timberland did the track. You know what I'm saying? Pharrell and them got a joint on it. So now they're going to, because back then that's when retail was big. They're going to retail and selling this project. So now, when it's time for your record to come out, instead of putting it in for 50,000 orders, you might get a shipment of 200,000 because everybody's excited. They want to hear this joint. Then we do a listening party. Because I remember when I did Guy's last album, I had a big listening party at Sony Studio on 54th Street. And it was huge, man. It was a page 6 in the New York Post and everything. And that's how you get things started. Because, at Uptown, it was always about giving parties. Maria Davis, another one that plays a very integral part into the culture of R&B and hip hop. And she used to do all those parties and all that stuff. Yeah, still doing it. Yeah. And she's a part of the culture. And she was the one that you would perform in her joint, and then the next day everybody was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So each thing played a part. So we talk about a record label now and an A&R now. A&R is looking online.
We got another
They're
call.
looking to see who's selling a lot of stuff and who got a lot of views and that sort of thing. So it's different.
Yes, caller. You here with Jeff Red?
Hello, Jeff Red. Hello, B.
Hey, what's
Hi.
happening?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. This is Tiffany, now known as Harlem Holiday. I want to congratulate you all on your award at Harlem Honors.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Wait,
And Jeff, I just want to know, are you still doing music now?
yes, I'm actually doing a whole lot of music. I have a single out now called Dance, Dance, Dance. And it's so funny, I was doing something about 3 weeks ago, and I was in a club, Mr. C was DJing, man, and he played the record, and like everybody in the club knew the record already. So that was pretty cool to me. So yeah, I'm still putting out record. I got some house music out there. I'm actually doing I'm doing like a 5-song sampler of some of these classic songs, not the classic R&B, like the classic pop records, like 60s soft rock. So I'm looking very forward to doing that. So yeah, I'm still putting out music to answer your question.
All right, thanks, caller, for calling. I think we got another
Hello, caller.
Hey, what's up? It's Sean from East Orange.
Sean, what's happening, brother?
What's going on?
Yes. Question?
You here with Jeff Red?
Yeah, what's up, Jeff Ray? You got any new projects going on? You have one of the most best voices that back in the 90s.
Thank you so much, Sean. Yes, I have projects. You actually can go on iTunes and CD Baby. I have a new project. I did a remake of Marvin Gaye's I Want You, a house version of that. I got a song called Dance, Dance, Dance. I got a song called Brand New Day. So that's all on iTunes and CD Baby. Check it out, man.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I think we have Dance, 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 right?
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that song real quick. Dance,
Yeah.
Dance, Dance. We're going
You got
to...
Yeah, you a little
Real
slow
quick,
on the trigger.
That's not what we're doing.
So
Yeah,
is this a single or is this an album?
This is a single.
Okay.
But I've done so many singles over the last 5 years. I think I'm gonna put them all together and make a project as well.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
So, how many songs on
I think the singles I'm gonna do like an 8-song album.
Right.
Yeah, because 8, there's EP and LP. EP is extended play,
Right.
which is 7 or less.
Right.
And an EP is extended play. That's what I'm right. EP is extended play. That's 7 or less. LP is an album, 8 or more.
Exactly.
So I want to do it. I'm gonna do an album. Yeah, 8 songs. Because if you remember, all the albums back in the day was 8 songs.
Yeah.
Sweat was 8 songs.
Mhm.
I think I had 8 or 9 songs. So you don't need too much music. You just need 8 solid.
Quality
records.
songs.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Quality, not quantity.
And just-
Yeah, so we're going to get to Dance, Dance, Dance. Jeff Red.
No weekends here and now, it's time for us to have some fun. Forget about work, the party's just begun. The music's right and the DJ got it going on. It's a party. Go get your hand nails, clothes, and everything ready so you can can feel your vibe tonight. I know you're ready to have a good time. So let's dance, dance, dance tonight.
Jeff Red, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Red. What do you think about this
We
song?
got some more callers.
You got a call,
We got a couple more callers.
One thing about your music though, you always get that same feel-good vibe in your music.
Caller, you here with Jeff Red?
You know?
You at the Beat 139?
This is, Shaq's wife.
What's your name, caller?
Hi, this is, Sean calling.
Hey, how you doing?
How you feeling?
Hi, how are you? I'm just calling to find out what type of project you got going on.
Right now, I have two projects in particular. I'm actually doing some work with the city of Mount Vernon. I'm helping it's a performing arts school there that I'm doing some work with starting the school year. And also, I'm doing a lot of work with the community of Mount Vernon and dealing with, we have a lot of issues and stuff on the political side, so I'm doing some things with that as well. As far as the music's concerned, you just heard a single, Dance, 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 that I put out that was produced by Dinky Bingham, DJ Bent Rock. He and I had put that whole project together, and just actually putting out music, more music, more music, more music. And
Can't wait to hear more from you.
thank you so much. I really appreciate your support over the years.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for calling, caller.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, so Jeff, so what's next for,
What's next?
Jeff?
I'm gonna be at Circle of Sisters next Saturday, performing, and I have a booth. I'm selling some of my t-shirts. I got some shea butter. I got some pocket squares because I like to put the suits on. So we're gonna be at Circle of Sisters, and I want everybody to look out for my new clothing line. It's called the Jeff Red Apparel, and that's gonna consist of leather jackets, suits, shirts, and a host of other things.
Where can they find
Can you get the address?
They go to www.jeffred.com. That's JEFFREDD.com.
You got another
We got
caller,
another
man.
call from Maryland, New
They're
York.
blowing the phone up for Jeff Red tonight.
Welcome to the Beat 139. You here with Jeff Red?
Hi, how are you? I'm calling Diane Mitchell, relative, and I was just interested. I was at the Harlem Honors, and I wanted to ask everyone on the panel if they were in the music and business industry and doing what they're doing, what else would they be doing?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Go ahead. Y'all. What would you do?
We know that the music industry can be kind of, tricky
I can answer that question easy.
I think I'll probably be working with kids, like have like a own like basketball camp, a league, have different athletes, come and talk to the youth. I'll probably be doing that. I do that now, but that's something I can think of right quick.
What about you, Dominic?
I'll be doing what I'm doing now. I'm a master trainer, so I help get people in shape from all age groups, from the age 10 to like the age 94 years old. So that's what I'm doing when I'm not doing this, helping people get in the best shape in their life.
And me, I do a number of things, but as far as what I'm going to be working on, I'm going to do this in a nonprofit. I'll be opening up my own nonprofit agency for teenagers, for learning mentors and like stuff like that. So something similar in that field.
That's it.
Okay, well, I'm happy to hear that. Congratulations again on all your honors. I think you guys are doing an amazing job. Jeff, as you know, is a cousin. Love you to life.
That's right.
Stay positive.
Thank you so much. Now, that's
Yeah, I
my
appreciate
cousin. Now, I used to DJ, right? So I always tell this story. I used to DJ. She lived on first floor, I lived on the second floor. And I would DJ, and she would come upstairs, and she would be dancing. And, I would know whether the record was hot or not, because she would tell me. So, yeah, that's my cousin right there.
Thanks a lot, cuz, for calling.
Love you, cousin.
All right now.
Thank you.
You guys take care.
All right, thank
Have a
you.
good day.
I mean, Jeff.
So here's the middle, his social media links.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Red. They can go to www.jeffred.com. On Instagram and Facebook, it's The Real Jeff Red, which is TheRealJeffReddD.com. I'd like to give a special shout out again to Bunny and Big Walt for the Harlem Honors.
Yeah, let's give him a clap for him.
Yeah.
Clap for Harlem Honors. We gotta talk about that. I got the Harlem Honors shirt on, right?
I see that, man.
Exclusive.
Yes.
From my sister Bunny, right? I
I got
represent.
the sneakers on
And
too.
a lot of people, Harlem is buzzing right now about
Yes, it
Harlem
is.
Honors. Everybody talking about Harlem
It
Honors.
is, man. They are. And I'd
Big
like to
things
give a
going on.
shout out to my sons, Jeffrey J. Jeffrey J. and Jay. And little Aiden, always with the child. I'm beautiful, the love of my life, Miss Teresa O'Neal, thank you for all that you do. Love you. And everybody out there, I want to also give a special shout out to Mary Brown. She's a part of my whole little crew, Andre McCoy, and my man Nate Lucas, and a lot of cats out there, Trevor Archer, a lot of people, man. I just want to thank for their support over the years, my sister, my niece, and all of them, man. Just thank y'all so much for hanging in with me. It's been a long journey, but it's been well worth it.
Can you tell me the show you on?
I'm on the beat 139. This is just
Hey,
let me give you the drop so y'all can edit it. What's happening? This is Jeff Red. You're listening to the beat. No, you was talking. 1 second. Hold on. Hey, what's happening? This is Jeff Red. You're listening to the beat 139. Peace. Thank you so much.
Good.
I want to end it with that.
That's all right, though. Play I Found Love, man. Let's play that while we take these photos. We gotta take these photos. I Found
Play
Love.
both, because ain't nobody heard that.
But come on, we're gonna play while we take these photos. What's up, Bunny? How you doing?
Good job, y'all.
Yeah, I'm looking at the shirt. I ain't even looked at it. I didn't know it was you. No, I'm just looking at the pink shirt. I didn't even look at the pink.
We got a post interview.
Let's go.